Welcome to the home of WWE News, Rumors, and Gossip in real time. Click the bell, subscribe, and turn on all notifications today. Don't forget to become a channel member and send a super thanks donation below. And now, your host. He is the most consistent and dedicated in YouTube history, Seanzviewent.
Now, tonight was TNA Bound for Glory, but was it about all the glory? Was it as glorious as it could be? With the significance, with the legends, with the champions, with the invaders, with the invasions, with the intruders, with the shocks, with the Hall of Fame, with everything that we had. Was Bound for Glory really as glorious and as momentous? Was it on par? Well, first of all, congratulations. Bigs up to TNA for their attendance, setting their own new attendance record. And for them, listen, how many years, how many times did everyone say, well, not everybody, but a lot of people for many years had TNA dead, gone, rest in peace, it's over. Never to be seen again. TNA will never be able to thrive, much less survive. But somehow, in some way, the little engine that could always found a way to resolve, whether it was a new logo, whether it was a transformation with a new name, whether it was a new owner, whether it was a new general manager, whether it was a new ring, 6 sides, 4 sides, whether it was the return of AJ Styles, whether it was a black hole slam, whether it was the beautiful people, the icon Sting, Double J, Jeff Jarrett, all led to this tonight, TNA Bound for Glory in Lowell, Massachusetts. Yes, in Lowell, Massachusetts. We're just getting to set the table here for you guys because nobody thought that TNA would have made it to this Bound for Glory. People had TNA dead and gone years ago, and every year the ship was sinking. It was just about sailing. It was always sink or swim for TNA. So for them to come full circle, to have the Dudleys and the Hardys in the last ever tables match between these two tag teams was absolutely supreme. Now, of course, there were situations tonight that might have rubbed people the wrong way, that might have bothered people, that might have ruffled some people's feathers after what we got and what went down tonight at TNA Bound for Glory in Lowell, Massachusetts. Some of the decisions, some of the results, some of the highlights might have upset you. Like what happened when we had double co-winners tonight during TNA Bound for Glory. Some of you would say it shouldn't have went down like that. But again, guys, it's not about me. It's about you. I want your review. I want your sentiments. I want your comments. I want your feelings of TNA Bound for Glory from the first match all the way to the main event of tonight. Now, for many of you, you may not follow or watch TNA, but then when you heard that WWE was involved with TNA, then when you heard, oh, wait a minute, WWE and TNA, they have a partnership, they are together, united they stand, and divided that they will fall. Well, now WWE is in TNA, and TNA is in WWE, and it rolls into NXT, obviously, right? That's what this whole thing has been about, is NXT. It's all been about war games. It's all been about bragging rights. It's about who is the better brand, who is supremacy. And then you had the TNA World's Heavyweight Championship on the line tonight. And then, of course, you had BDE appearing. BDE, the big YouTuber that has contacted me, who has watched me, who has commented on me. BDE was in and on TNA tonight. Unbelievable, viewers. And again, you can pick apart the event, but at the end of the day, for nostalgia, for the old school fan, this had everything. For the new school and the old school. That's what I liked about this TNA event. You literally had it all. You had the high flying, you had the hardcore, you had the championships. Again, pure nostalgia tonight. It was like going back to the Attitude Era at some points during this TNA event tonight. And you want honesty, you are going to get just that here on Sean's View Entertainment. Again, what do you feel was the match of the night at tonight's TNA Bound for Glory in Lowell, Massachusetts? What do you feel was the moment of the night? What about the recognition of the Hall of Famers at TNA Bound for Glory tonight for TNA, who has went through so many changes and uphill battles and challenges. But again, TNA, weathered the storm to make it to this night. And again, viewers, it all comes down to your thoughts and your review. Was it hot? Was it fire? Was it a scorcher? Was this a memorable event? Was it monumental? Is this a TNA event that you could go back and watch again? And what about the return of Brother Runt, Spike Dudley? Spike Dudley returned tonight with the Dudley Boys, and then the Dudley Boys retired. The Dudley Boys called it a day. The Dudley Boys went off into the sunset, viewers, fans, and subscribers. And you know, while I want you to give me your review and your analysis and your view, because remember, your review and your view is the only view that matters on this very website to the delight of each and every one of you. I'm going to give my own letter grade because, you know, ESPN likes to give WWE WrestlePalooza and WWE Crown Jewel, they like to go by a letter grade. They want to give it a grade, whether it be an A or whether it be, a passing, or whether it be a failing with an F. And when you look at up and down, the top, the bottom, the middle of the card, hell, even the pre-show, even the little preview that we got for TNA tonight to get you interested and get you invested, give you your last chance, your last moment to order TNA tonight, I got to give it a B minus. I got to go in and say it was a B minus tonight because, again, there was some results that got people agitated and mad and rubbed people the wrong way. There are some results that there should have been a definitive winner. There shouldn't have been an onslaught. There shouldn't have been, some people would say, because, I mean, when you look at this full card, you had WWE stars, you had former WWE stars, you had TNA stars, you had homegrown talent. I mean, this event really had it all. The fix was in tonight, ladies and gentlemen, for TNA Bound for Glory. And who took in all the glory and all the prestige and all the titles and all the ammunition and all the buildup, all the significance, guys, came down to this tonight. And again, I am glad that TNA was able to overcome the odds, the insurmountable odds, and all the detours that have been in their way. They have faced their back. TNA's back has been against the wall for a lot of years. But boy, tonight, did they come up big when the lights were absolutely on bright. And I'll tell you what right now, viewers, it was one that you would go down, and it's a night in TNA history that you will not forget anytime soon. Also, Kiera Hogan confirms AEW exit, taking a break from professional wrestling. And this is breaking news. More breaking news on TNA even as the show's over. Ladies and gentlemen, according to those in the know, the dirt sheets, the websites, and the newsletters, we are now receiving word that TNA president has hinted that the Hardy Boys, Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy, the Hardys, have resigned. Yes, the Hardys have resigned according to those in the know. And that is obviously pivotal. TNA President Carlos Silva has fueled speculation that the legendary Hardy Boys have resigned with the company, posting a positive and forward message on social media just one day before their historic match at Bound for Glory. On Saturday, Silva took to X, formerly Twitter, to thank the brothers for their contributions to TNA, and this may have implied that they have resigned. Again, rumor, gossip, speculation. And when I talk about a death and a rest in peace and a passing away during this video, I'm talking about all the years that people had passed on TNA and said that they were dead, gone, and buried. That is the death that I'm talking about. And when I talk about a star, I'm talking about the star of TNA that was fading for a lot of years. But now that star of TNA, it is shining. It is bright. It is clear. And again, TNA set another monumental record for themselves. They broke their own record tonight. And again, fans are absolutely irate after the call your shot gauntlet ends in controversial fashion during TNA Bound for Glory. But what about Mr. Anderson or Mr. Kennedy? I wish he would have appeared. I wish he would have been there. Also, more breaking news. Again, this is going to be a heavy-filled TNA episode because, again, this does tie in. This does have majors to do with the WWE. The Inspiration is expected to stay in TNA after Bound for Glory title defense. Also, the real reason is being leaked. The real reason is being exposed online right now. The real reason behind the suspension of Tessa Blanchard in TNA is being exposed and leaked online right now, according to those in the know from the damned get-go. Also, TNA announces the date and location for Genesis 2026 pay-per-view. Yes, TNA returns to pay-per-view once again with Genesis. And boy, is that going to be one, because TNA Wrestling is bringing Genesis back to Texas in 2026. TNA Bound for Glory, again, we got to bring this out. We can't just say it. We got to actually get out the details because we go in-depth, we go more thorough. TNA Bound for Glory 2025 breaks all-time attendance record. You heard that right, guys. You heard that right. Also, yes, fans were enraged after the X Division title match at TNA Bound for Glory was ruined by a stable invasion from NXT. Xia Brookside pulled from TNA Bound for Glory. Tessa Blanchard used dirty tactics to beat Gia Miller at TNA Bound for Glory 2025. Steve Macklin reclaims the international title at TNA Bound for Glory 2025. And the Inspiration again retained the Knockouts Tag Team titles at TNA Bound for Glory. There is also breaking news coming in right now. According to those in the know, and plans can change, but currently on the side of the WWE, breaking news on Roman Reigns and Bronson Reed in the main event scene in World Wrestling Entertainment. There is a push for Bronson Reed to get world title shot after defeating Roman Reigns. Again, do you think Bronson Reed deserves a shot in the main event? Will Bronson Reed win the Royal Rumble match? Natalia Markova issues warning to Shotzi ahead of NWA 3. AJ Styles' status for tonight was revealed. Again, a lot of rumor, a lot of speculation. Was AJ Styles going to be there? Was he going to be in attendance? Was he going to make a return? All those eyes were on AJ Styles. Also, TNA Bound for Glory definitely did feature some WWE NXT involvement, as the world saw. Also, AEW Cable's TV future is still on hold. Solid ground, guys. Solid ground for now after Warner Brothers Discovery rejects Paramount's takeover bid. Again, AEW Cable's future is still on hold. Devon said that tonight's final match against the Hardys will allow him and will let him go out on his own terms. Also, viewers, fans, and subscribers, Rowdy, Ronda Rousey, and everyone says everyone should get one hand slap per year to keep people in check. Nick Aldis honors Mickie James before what we saw, and then we did go into it, seeing the TNA Hall of Fame induction. Kota Ibushi undergoes successful surgery after a horrific injury. Bully Ray fired back at critics who's called the Dudleys versus Hardy match a bad idea. Your thoughts, your comments, your opinions, and your emotions on all of that. But viewers, it all boils down to you, your honest review. What was your feelings, your thoughts about TNA tonight? What stood out to you? What struck you? Were you for it? Were you against it? Are you still on the fence about it? Do you still have to think about it, viewers, fans, and subscribers? Do you need the time? Do you need the time? Because the time is now. And then, ladies and gentlemen, there is a lot of rumor, and this is a big rumor here. This is a big rumor. And this just went out on Sportscadia later. Several moments ago. Several moments ago, it just went out, viewers. According to those that know, that John Cena, viewers, and this is going to be the biggest gossip, the biggest rumor, the biggest swerve I've ever seen, could be interested in an appearance in AEW after retiring from WWE, after being done with the WWE. Now, John Cena has never appeared in another promotion, not WCW, not ECW, not TNA, but by God, could it go down? Could it happen? Could it transpire? John Cena in AEW. Do you think that would happen? Do you think that that would be allowed? Do you think John Cena would actually do something like that? Would John Cena go to that level? Would John Cena actually go to that length? I guess we're all going to have to see, wait, and find out. Also, viewers, fans, and subscribers, according to those in the know, we're now receiving word about the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. What did you think about that? The closing moments, the closing segment of the TNA World Heavyweight Championship of this world. Your thoughts, your comments, and your opinions. Viewers, new TNA Wrestling World Champion crown. Yes, well, that's what you think about it. A brand new TNA Wrestling Champion, a new TNA World's Champion crown. Tonight at Bound for Glory's pay-per-view in the main event of TNA Bound for Glory. We witnessed it all. We witnessed the chaos, the bedlam, and now we have a brand new TNA World Heavyweight Champion. And is that what you were looking for? Is that what you wanted? Do you think that this was the right call? Was this the right way to go about it? Your thoughts, your comments, your opinions, and your emotions on all things TNA Bound for Glory. And if you're not down with that, we got a lot more for you. subscribe. Your rating, your review of TNA Bound for Glory.